previous ones have been made in a fairly normal fashion, I suppose. Go in the studio and record people separately with overdubbing, although we've always done a rhythm section together. And this time, because Charles Benfield, who's produced it as well as playing double bass on it, he's been running the whole thing, and he decided to take a new approach, which was to do it as live, as far as possible, exactly as live, but obviously in a studio setting. So we took a room for a couple of days in the heat wave in August, and we played, the three of us together, so as live, including the singing, and we did 21 songs in those 2 days in record temperatures.
We did. It was very hot. But
It was.
What an achievement, I feel.
It was a huge achievement, and we did, I think, only 2 or 3 takes of each one. And mostly the third take was the one to keep, but sometimes I think the second one was okay. Somehow we kept going, and so the last ones we did were as well done as the first.
More of a DIY approach to it than... I wasn't around for the first few albums, like thinking about from writing to printing. Is there less people involved in this one?
There are certainly not as many people involved. I mean, there was always an attempt to capture a organic sound, so
Sure.
it wasn't ever that anything was done as a kind of heavily produced thing. But the system was a little bit different, and people added their things. In the earlier days, there were more people in the band. And then the last couple of albums, it was the three of us, and but we added others who came in on different days. So we had Paul Tichenko, brilliant genius, multi-instrumentalist, playing all manner of things, and on the last album we had Paddy Milner, the great piano player. And this time we've done something quite different, which is to explore all the variety and range of sounds and textures and atmospheres that the three of us can create.
Yes.
And so it is definitely a very different kind of record.
Talk about band members. There's only 3 of us right now. How many have you had in the band in the past?
Three's plenty, isn't it? We once were up to 6, but I mean, you know, in the earlier days, we kicked off in 2010 was the first album. That was basically me and Charles. And we had Will Greener, the great harmonica player. We did a lot of things as a trio, and we had other people in the band as well, kind of part-time. It was never that you're in it or you're out. You know, I always wanted it so that nobody felt obliged to come and do a gig, and people could come and go. So it was always a pretty relaxed setup. So there was a point at which there were 6, but that's quite a few years ago. And then, for various reasons, 3 went, and so Charles and I felt that the trio was a very, very good idea. So I'm more than happy to do that.
And I guess with people who are in or out, in quotation marks, it frees you up to be a bit more flexible in the sense of doing a gig, whether it's solo, duo, trio.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect people to commit themselves full-time to it. And you know, people have other things to do in music and in life. And you know, unless you're able to offer people a full-scale annual salary, you know, I don't think you should expect them to do everything. So I think one of the key points was that I could always do the gig. And if it was something small that wanted solo, I can go and do solo. And of course, I do tons of those, and we do duos, you and me, or me and Charles, and to fit the occasion, really.